quick. Never done a live stream with all you boys and girls out there in sporting land. So I decided to jump in here real quick. Going around about here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, doing a little um, errands for the wife and the daughter and whatnot. By the way, my daughter, she's about to have her first kid. So congratulations to myself because I'm going to be, uh, I guess you could say, Pappy JPC or Pappy OCF, whatever. Anyway, just want to jump in here real quick and touch on the Big 12 and whatnot. They seem to be the butt of the conversation the past 2 years. Last year, as you know, I made a little video about Oklahoma needing to sever ties with Oklahoma State and stop carrying them and a lot of the teams in the Big 12. Little did I know that them in Texas were really thinking about leaving the Big 12, and it come to fruition later on that summer. Now we have the Big 12 um, and Oklahoma and Texas in the news again. So the Big 12 has just been a part of the news. It has been a part of the news for the past 2 seasons with all this expansion bullshit that's going on. Now, Bowlesby, the commissioner, is stepping down following the video that I just made about Oklahoma and Texas possibly going back to the Big 12. Now, you think that's a coincidence? Yep, there you go, Chad. Commissioner quit when it got too hard for him. Or, Chad, could it be that the video that I made just a few days back, Oklahoma and Texas, maybe they made a little deal behind the scenes with the Big 12 and said, hey, look, we might come back to the Big 12 if you get rid of Bowlesby and we bring Nebraska back in. Now, I know the Big 10 makes a lot more money than the Big 12, but if Texas and Oklahoma were to, try to maybe put some money up for the Big 12 as well as the other institutions because they got a little bit more money than everybody else, then maybe they could lure Nebraska back in because I don't think Nebraska's fan base is happy over there. The Nebraska people that I talk to, they're not happy with the Big 10. It's just not their natural habitat. It ain't because they're losing, because, they are losing, but they're not losing that bad. It's not because they're losing. They just don't fit in the Big 10, in my opinion. I mean, what do you guys and gals think about that? Do you think that if Texas and Oklahoma do go back to the Big 12 since Bowlesby is gone, do you think that they could lure Nebraska back in? Because if they did, then they could merge with the Pac-12. And with the markets out there with UCLA, USC, Washington, Oregon, Arizona State, if they all merged, then at that point, they would probably be making about as much money as the Big 10 and the SEC. What do y'all think about that? I'm still learning this live stream shit, by the way. I see I got 9 people in here viewing this live stream, but I'm just wanted to jump in here real quick because I heard that Bob Bowlesby was stepping down as the commissioner on the heels of the rumblings and the rumors that I've been hearing that Texas and Oklahoma might be going back to the Big 12. And I just find that awfully coincidental that the rumors are out there that they might go back, and then all of a sudden Bowlesby steps down. So, let's see what we got here. Okay. Trying to see if we got any good comments yet. I want to come home to the SEC. I'm sick of the weird fan bases of the Big 12. Well, Chad, more than likely that will probably happen. But like I said, there's some rumblings out there and rumors that Texas wants to go back to the Big 12. And I think if they can talk Oklahoma into going back with them, I think that Texas would go back to the Big 12 just because Bowlesby's gone. And now there's a plan in place to possibly surge with the rest of the Pac 12. Then they could rename the conference whatever, whether it's the Continental Conference, whatever. They'd be the first conference that would be coast to coast, because they got UCF coming on board and Cincinnati, so they would have, and they got West Virginia already, so they would have three pretty passionate fan bases on the eastern part of the United States. Texas should just join the Pac-12, as they're already a liberal stronghold in Austin. That is true. They are a pretty liberal city, which doesn't really fit with the narrative here in the South for the most part. But like I said, I'm still learning this live stream stuff. He says, K-State here, SEC can have Texas. We will gladly keep OU. Bring back the nubs. Still learning how to read these comments. They'll pop up from time to time and then they'll disappear on me. So just give me a give me a break here today, because like I said, it's my first live stream. Usually I just do videos, but I was out and about and I couldn't do a video, so I decided to jump in here real quick and talk to you guys and gals, because you are the home of the Common Joe and Common Southern. No, even more so than all the media talking heads. Always hear the good stuff from the Common Joes and Sallies first. And that's why I said, when I done that video last week, I took a little bit of a risk, because it's just with some slight rumblings that Texas and Oklahoma may want to go back. And like I said, if they go back to the Big 12, and especially since Bowlesby's gone, Bowlesby, I think, was a thorn in their side. They did not like Bowlesby. Bowlesby wanted to hold their feet to the fire and make them, have to fork out certain monies for all the other institutions, and Texas and Oklahoma probably felt as if they were carrying the conference. In a way, they probably were, but I can understand Bowlesby's side of it too. It's a conference, so you're supposed to share monies across the board, and Texas has always had a problem with that, especially with Longhorn Network. But think about it. If they were to go back to the Big 12, lure Nebraska in. What's up, Crisco Country Life? If they were to lure Nebraska back in with more money, probably not going to be able to match the Big 10. But like I said, if they can get the Pac-12 into the fold here, if they can get the Pac-12 into the fold, they would at that point have enough money to bring Nebraska back in. At that point, they could challenge the Big 10 and the SEC. The Pac-12 and the Big 12, geographically speaking, should have merged a long time ago, and they could have took over the entire western part of the United States, west of Mississippi. Chilling outside with the goats, huh? All right there. Oh, Crisco likes the goats, y'all, by the way. He's our goat man. He's our resident goat expert. So if you have any questions about whether you should milk your goat's tits a little too hard or a little too vigorously, Crisco's the man to talk to about goat titties and all that good shit. Now, I just want to know if you guys and gals think that if Texas and Oklahoma went back and they merged with the Big 12, do you think that would be a good deal for them? Because, it's a no-brainer to say, they went back to the Big 12, they wouldn't have near the money that they would have in the Big 10 or the SEC. But if you take the Pac-12 and the Big 12, who by themselves alone are not the most money-fluent conferences right now, but if you took the two and put them together, they would have almost the entire western part of the United States at their disposal. They'd be the first Continental Conference, like I said, because they have UCF, they have Cincinnati, they have West Virginia and the East Coast. They would be the first coast-to-coast conference, and that could be a great recruiting tool. The Nubs left back in the day for the Big 12, come back to the Big 8. Who knows with the Nubs? The Nubs. Now, I've not heard that nickname before. OU isn't coming back to Big 12. I haven't heard anything about you, says Michael Pierce. Well, Michael, like I said, I've got some people, some sources inside at some of the athletic departments at Texas and Oklahoma, and they were the ones that was telling me that Texas, most specifically, was thinking about going back, especially since Bob Bowlesby is stepping out. Texas does not like Bob Bowlesby, and from what I take, Oklahoma doesn't either. How's it going, Trent and Sip? Crisco, what's up, says Trent Sip. Well, Trent, Crisco's done put the goat the goat dictation out there already. So we got some straight up goat loving in here. Boomer, boomer, boomer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boomer's becoming my second favorite team here lately. A lot of people been giving me hell about that. I'm an Alabama fan, but I've been doing a lot of videos on the Sooners, and I ain't gonna lie, I've become quite fond of the Sooner Nation. Hell, they got the right colors. They're crimson. Crimson and cream, crimson and white, same thing. Traditional powerhouse schools. So, yeah, pretty easy to get assimilated to being a Boomer Sooner. So, OU wanted out before Bowlesby was even there, is what Brian said. Now, that's probably true, Brian. But I think that maybe Bowlesby pushed their buttons to the point where they went ahead and took some action on the deal, and now you got what you got. Texas wouldn't mind staying in the Big 12 because they're like Notre Dame and they think they're bigger than any conference. That is true, in my opinion. Now, I've got some good Texas friends out there, and I think they have to swallow the pill on this a lot because, like you said, they have a lot of liberalism going on in Austin for whatever reason. Now, that is a possibility also. If Texas cannot talk Oklahoma back, which I don't think they're going to be able to, I think Oklahoma really wants this SEC deal more than anything. If Texas was unable to talk Oklahoma back and they decided they did not want to live up to their end of the deal and go on into the SEC, they could become independent. They don't have to join the Pac-12. Texas has got the big enough brand and big enough booster base that they could probably be the Notre Dame of the South. If Texas bails, we'll bring OSU. They know a lot about goats as well. OU gets consistently screwed for having to play Fox and Noon post-game matchups. The only one I think will break us up is the ACC. These comments are disappearing on me quicker than North Carolina and Law. 2 Pac schools in the SEC. Now, that is true. Show me. If the SEC continues on and Oklahoma and Texas stay the course and come into the SEC like they should, then I think the next avenue for the SEC most likely will probably be an invasion of the ACC. Now, the only thing I think that could save the ACC is if Notre Dame decides to finally bite the bullet and come on in full time and share their football revenue with the ACC. If they did that, that would bolster the ACC to the point where they could possibly fend off an SEC or a Big Ten invasion. Because the Big Ten has also been talking about invading the ACC. If OU folks just want to play at a good time slot like 2:30 evening, like we deserve. 2:30 is a lot better than 12. You're right. A lot better. But I still don't like 2:30. I love playing games at night. I love playing games after 5 or 6. That's the best time to me because, man, when it's 2:30 here in the South in September, oh, man, we still got some of that lingering ass July heat. It would make you fry, make your damn head fry like our boy Crisco there with his goat milk and his goat grease. Outlaw going into the Bama games this year. I might go to a few this year. I'm not sure. I live so close to campus that it's become old hat to me. I just rather watch it on TV sometimes because then, you know, if you're at a game, man, you're at a disadvantage because you got people sitting in behind you that you don't know. You got people in front of you that you don't know. You don't know what the hell they're going to do. You can get up and go to the bathroom easier at home. You got better food at home, most likely. It's just a lot more convenient for me to watch a game from the house, or most likely go down to Buffalo Wild Wings because I love going to Buffalo Wild Wings and watching games. Pay for parking, pay for ticket, pay for food. Yeah. The next big move is coast to coast. Big in SEC will expand to 20 teams. I prefer staying in the house too, says Trent the Sip. I was at Lids in the University Mall today, Sip, and I saw an Ole Miss hat, man. I started to get that damn thing. Because back in the day when I was a kid growing up, so Ole Miss was like my second favorite team. Crypt Keeper, what's up, brother? Cool ass name. I like that name, Crypt Keeper. Reminds me back in the day when I used to watch Tales of the Crypt. Y'all remember that damn show? Yeah, that was some pretty cheesy shit. We look back on that back then, we thought it was the bomb, man. Now it's like cheesy as hell. Can't pass on Ole Miss stuff. You're right, man. I love that powder blue that Ole Miss has. Them in North Carolina got some of the best colors in college football. You know, a lot of people give me hell about being in some of these groups. Like, I get Oklahoma people and Ohio State people. They'd be like, why are you in this group? You're an Alabama fan. I love football in general, just like the rest of you probably do. I love all of college football. There are certain traditions and stuff that I don't like. You know, there's a lot of stuff about Auburn and Tennessee that I don't like. But other than Auburn and Tennessee, I'm usually pretty open to partaking and celebrating with other fan bases. I love it. I went down to the Independence Bowl, man. And I always heard horror stories about LSU fans. It's when Alabama wasn't that good in Nick Saban's first year, 7-6. We went down the Independence Bowl, played Colorado, almost blew a 27-point lead, by the way. But before the game, these LSU fans give me and my buddy tickets to get in this tent, where they were, if you had tickets to the tent, then at that point you had access to all the food and all the booze for free. Now, there's no telling how much they paid for those tickets, but they just give them to us just to have a good time. We was all down there just talking football and, for the most part, getting along. I mean, it's just a few bad apples in every fan base. Yeah, I've been to the Independence Bowl quite a few times, actually, Trent. I've been there 3 different times because, you know, like I said, back in the day, Alabama wasn't that great for a few years there. When Gene Stallings retired and we went through Mike DeBozo, and then we had Dennis Franchione, who told everybody to hold the rope. He's an older version of Tebow, the bitch out west, Linky boy, old Linky Riley. And then we had Mike Price, who didn't ever coach a game. Went down to strip club in Panama City. Or not Panama. What's Panama City? Pensacola. I think it's Pensacola. He went down to Pensacola, went to strip bar, and basically got caught using the university credit cards at the hotels down there for these strippers. And he thought he realized what he was getting into, but he didn't, because you're a head football coach at Alabama down here in the South. It's almost like being a president or a governor, because people don't recognize you. And the old Mike Price got skint the hell up. Then the 2 bowl games, Ole Miss versus TCU. TV deal with Fox is what spurred the move to the SEC. Was Fox Sports major draw, and they would put OU. Yeah. Bowl games are interesting, for sure. But I tell you what's real interesting is going on the road, like an actual road game. I've been to a few. I went to South Carolina when Alabama lost to them for the first time. We played them like 10 different times when they joined the conference, and they never beat us. And then they beat us, and they charged the field and clogged up the exits, and I had to sit there and watch that shit. But I love going to road games and being outnumbered, especially when you win. Now, when you lose, I ain't gonna lie to you, that shit sucks. You having to walk out of the stadium, man, they grill the hell out of you. You gotta have thick skin, man, if you're gonna go on the road, especially in the SEC. But back to the topic at hand. Big 12 announced today that possibly Brian Bowlesby is stepping down as the commissioner. I just find that awful convenient that right after I make the podcast about the rumblings that he steps down. Been to one road game, went to Auburn once back at Jordan Hare. Was a cool experience to see the roll the... Yeah, they don't roll trees anymore down there. I don't know if y'all heard, but old Harvey Updike put them trees out of the misery. You know, they give old Harvey Updike hell about that shit. Made him into this big-time villain over killing a tree that was already dying. And y'all say, well, what do you mean was already dying? Well, the tree wasn't indigenous to the area. They were throwing toilet paper on it ad nauseum. Once they threw the toilet paper on there, they were having to, could Bob Stoops be next in line for the commission? Something to think about. Now, that would be a great move, I think. Bob Stoops could be a real good commissioner. I really do think if they had a czar, if they done away with the NCAA, I think he'd be a good czar. So would Nick Saban, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, man. I haven't been too happy with Nick Saban here lately because he can't seem to keep his little Millie Mouse shut about freaking politics. So that really pisses me off. That I don't understand these sports, um, our sports celebrities out there and our heroes and our celebrities and our actors and actresses out there that feel the need to constantly be, just degrade people based on politics. I'm like, man, I can't even watch movies anymore without thinking about Robert De Niro being just a flaming hot libtard. And look, I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. That's why I try to tell people, oh, you a Trumpster, blah blah blah. No, I'm not either party. I don't believe in having parties. I believe they should do away with party labels. Party label loyalty makes for corrupt loyalty. And these politicians and these sports heroes of ours, these sports celebrities, they need to just keep their mouth shut about politics, man. And keep that out of our sports. We watch sports to get away from that shit. Scan an article about when they bring in 3D TV going to stadiums and empty. I mean, what? How many years did he get in prison? Um, Harvey Dent, I don't think he got any time in prison, but he did have $800,000 worth of restitution. That's way too much restitution. People are like, well, he shouldn't have poisoned the trees then. Come on now. All right. If someone went out there and poisoned a tree at your house, and then people are like, well, it was a landmark. Well, if it was a landmark, then why did y'all kill? Why were y'all killing the tree? See, I didn't finish my story, but the Auburn students would roll the trees, and then after they rolled the trees, they got the bright idea to get the toilet paper off. You know what they did? They pressure washed the tree, man. They were pressure washing that tree after each home victory. And I don't know if you know this or not, but pressure washing a tree, it's not like pressure washing your house or your trailer or whatever you live in. A tree is a living organism. And it don't need those chemicals on it. It don't need to be pressure washed. Pressure washing that tree is what killed that tree. That tree was already dying. Harvey just put it out of his misery, so to speak. Was it wrong what he did? Yeah. But not $800,000 worth of restitution wrong. Come on now. There's rapists out there that get less restitution than that. So where's your morals here? You gonna punish a man more for poisoning a football landmark tree as opposed to someone that rapes people? OSU didn't bring the eyeballs. Great all-around sports program, though. Celebrities and athletes doubt about politics. Yep. They need to leave the politics alone, man. Because right now, it was the in vogue thing to be woke and liberal. But as you can see, it's sort of going away. It's sort of a fad. It's sort of burning out. And they're going to get caught with their pants down, and they're not going to be able to come back. Why would you want to alienate more than half your fan base? Because you got half these people are woke and half these people that are conservative. So why go out of your way to piss off half of them? Why not just remain neutral? And then if you want to talk politics, go to a political rally and then talk politics. Or go on a political talk show. But don't go on our sports talk shows and don't go into our stadiums and talk politics or do something that invokes politics, like the whole kneeling thing. I ain't gonna get all into that because I just burnt that up the other day. But anyway, I just wanted to get on here real quick because of the Big 12 situation. Once again, they're in the news. Their commissioner stepping down, and I just find it awful convenient that been hearing rumblings of Texas wanting to go back to the Big 12 and taking Oklahoma back with them and then merging with the Pac-12 to form this big mega super conference out west that could actually probably compete with the Big 10 and the SEC at that point, I think. If they were to get the Pac-12 into the fold, plus having, a big budding program in Central Florida, and Orlando's got one of the biggest enrollments in America, along with Cincinnati and West Virginia on the East Coast, I think that they could actually compete with the Big Ten and the SEC at that point. But that's what it would take for Oklahoma to go back, I think. Oklahoma would definitely have to have the Pac-12 on board in a massive merger for them to even consider it. Outside of that, if Texas wanted to go back and it wasn't a Pac-12 merger in the works, Texas would probably go independent at that point, in my opinion. What do you guys and gals think about that? Anyway, like I said, just want to jump in here real quick and holler at y'all about that and try this live stream thing out. I'm going to get the kinks out. I'm going to learn about it a little bit more. And next time around, maybe I'll be a little bit better, a little more prepared. But yeah, I just wanted to holler at y'all because the Common Joe's been putting in my ear. And I had to let y'all know about it. With that, I'm going to get off here. Check out my YouTube channel, Outlaw of College Football. Share me out to your friends and get them to join. We can get this channel crunk, man. Because one day I'm going to try to have a multi-team tailgate party in neutral location somewhere, like maybe Nashville or somewhere. Y'all just let me know what y'all think about that. And I'm going to get off here. And as I like to always say, KMCA to all the other teams.